as Mr. Ricky Cole and Mr. Michael Williams, all members of the mentoring organization Unique Gents. And of course, let me welcome the three of you to the show this morning.
Thank you.
And tell you how delighted we are to have you with us today, Mr. JThrealkill. And let's start with you, Mr. JThrealkill, by having you to take a couple of minutes to make some statements in reference to who you are. Mr. Ricky Cole will make additional statements in reference to his situation. And of course, Mr. Michael Williams will also give that information. By that time, we should be through with this first segment, and then we'll get into some issues dealing with your organization. Let's start off with you, Mr. JThrealkill.
Thank you, Dr. Haney, and it's an absolute pleasure to be on your program, especially after having been on your program some 30 years ago to talk about a similar topic. So really appreciate your work in this area and providing a voice for the community. But I'm a native Nashvilleian, grew up in 3 public housing communities and went to high school at East Nashville High School, and upon graduation had an athletic scholarship to play football at Vanderbilt University. After that, I went back to the neighborhoods I grew up in to conduct art classes. I was an art major, and subsequently went to work for the mayor's office of Nashville, Mayor Phil Bredesen. I went from there to teaching art at Montgomery Bell Academy, and also spent 7 years working at the Edge Hill Community Center as a community services director and art director. And then in my current role, I'm a diversity director for a construction management company called Skanska. But I think my most important job is being the father to Keziah and Zoe, my 2 daughters, and just trying to guide them in becoming productive young people and eventually productive adults.
Very good. I can say that they are going the right way. I had an opportunity to meet the 2 of them.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cole, what about your situation?
Yes, sir. Good morning, Dr. Haney, and again, thank you for having us this morning. My name is Ricky Cole, and I'm the president of the Unique Gents mentoring organization. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I grew up in East Nashville, where I had an opportunity to go to Meigs Junior High School and attend East High School, where I graduated, played sports, football and basketball while I was in high school, and got a scholarship to attend Tennessee State University to play basketball, and played basketball at Tennessee State. Presently, I've been working with the state of Tennessee now for about 33 years, and I'm a rehab therapist at Middle Tennessee Mental Health Institute.
Very good. Michael?
How you doing? Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm native of Nashville, born in West Nashville. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. I'm a member of Unique Gents. This organization, I'm a true product of the organization. These men have guided me through life and come up to be a young man that I am today. Actually, I'm a probation officer at the moment. I attended Bethel College, played football there, and here I am now. I have a criminal justice degree.
Very good. And of course, so, and I would imagine, Mr. Williams, that being a probation officer, you really come in contact with young African-American males. You know?
I do, and it's adults. I see a lot of them on many occasions that they've made the wrong mistake. They had no guidance, and that's what it usually comes from. We don't have a father figure in the household to guide us to become young men in life. So we're out there left to our own desires, our own thoughts, which is very dangerous in a sense. So I see guidance being a big key, a big issue that needs to be attacked.
And so the 3 of you working with the organization Unique Gents have an opportunity, as we indicated earlier, Mr. JThrealkill, to come in contact with a large number of young African-American males that are having real difficult problems in terms of being successful. Is that what we're saying?
Yes, sir. We've had great mentors ourselves coming up, and one in particular that we'll talk about in the next segment was Mr. Edward Mullins, who served as a role model for many of us. And we're trying to carry on his legacy in terms of working with young people to keep them on track. And that's what the Unique Gents organization is all about.
And of course, what we're doing, I think we've got about 40 more seconds in this particular segment. And then when we come back, we'll allow the 3 of you to take about 8 minutes, we've got an 8-minute segment, to talk about some of the things that you are doing in terms of dealing with mentoring African-American youth. And we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. Thank you and welcome back to the second segment of the show for today. The topic is African American youth, mentoring African American youth, and we're using an organization known as the Unique Gents to demonstrate some of the mentoring activities that this organization has been involved with. And we're talking to Mr. Michael Williams, Mr. Cole, and Mr. JThrealkill. And let's start off with you, Mr. Williams, by having you to make some statements in reference to your organization or mentoring or however you wish to approach it over the next couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Haney. Well, we try to target young black males in our community, which mostly we grow up without male figures in our household. So if we take the time to give them those basic attributes, those skills, those life skills, how to be a young man, how to be a gentleman, how to carry yourself in a sense. So we take these things and even instill dedication, discipline in these individuals. So it's more than just being there, it's teaching in the same breath. So this is an approach that we come at, and also awareness, because you got to know your history. So when it comes down to it, you want to be able to know where you come from and where you're going.
Mr. Cole?
You know, Dr. Haney, I really feel like that our community, for our young black African-American young men, we have a problem with self-image. Our young men grow up, they don't really know about self. We're talking about self-image. We're talking about self-esteem, self-awareness, self-development. And that comes from the home. And that comes from being able to watch a man in a home, or watching other men that you may look up to, or as a role model, and to develop your own personality. And it just seems like there's not enough of that. There's not enough character building. And one thing the Unique Gents try to do is to build character in young men and help them to understand how to carry themselves. And there's so many topics that these young men we can talk about in our mentoring sessions, because these young men need to know that how to treat a woman. The young men need to know how to carry themselves. And a lot of these things that you see in the news currently are things that we're trying to teach our African-American young men. And what helps us be able to teach them is that when they do see it on the news and it's actually happening, then we can bring it back to the table in our mentoring sessions and show these young men, okay, this is the way you should handle this situation. And it's usually very helpful, a helpful tool. But we just try to get as many young men as we can on board to show them and to teach them some of the things that we were taught by Edward Junebug Mullins, who was the founder of our organization when we were young men.
Mr. JThrealkill?
Yes, sir. And Mr. Cole and I represent a coalition of former classmates, former teammates that we all played sports with in the East Nashville community at East High School. And we had individuals who paved the way for us to have examples of success. We are trying to connect the young people today with the history of the civil rights movement and all the things that went into place to help them have access to opportunities, and then also trying to get them to understand the importance of education and the role that it plays in developing a successful career and lifestyle for yourself. And so we're modeling that behavior. We're celebrating community. We do an annual event that we're in our 11th year where we celebrate families, community, and successful individuals. And Mr. Michael Williams represents a young man who came to us who may have been in a difficult situation, but because of the exposure to the men in the Unique Gents organization has totally transformed his life to the point where he's a role model for a lot of young men that we're working with. We even named an award after him that we present at our program every year, just as an example of recognizing excellence, because our young men have the potential for success and greatness. Someone just needs to instill in them the belief that they can accomplish those things so that they learn how to respect women, how to be disciplined with their finances, and how to just conduct themselves in scenarios where they may come in contact with law enforcement and proper behavior and things of that nature that are important to their development and growth.
What did you think about the organization that you became involved in? How did you, Mr. Williams, become involved in this organization?
Well, I was brought up with another member that was involved in my life, and he felt personally that this organization came back together and would help guide me in the right direction. I personally came into the organization with an open mind, knowing that I needed something in life, not knowing at the time what it was.
But you needed
but I needed something because I was left, like I said, I was out in the community, left to my own demise, doing whatever I thought was okay. But I had men come into my life and show me, hey, this is how you walk, this is how you speak, this is how you carry yourself. But before that, I was out there loose-minded, had no guidance. So, but I was also able to get some awareness. So I had certain qualities within me that just needed a little nurturing, and they grew. They put the blocks in the right place.
And they were able to recognize the potential that you had as soon as you became involved. Is that right, what you do, Mr. Cole?
That is, and I'd like to just say a little bit about how we came about. As Unique Gents, well, about 40 years ago, there was a social club put together at Douglas Community Center, and it was put together by Edward Mullins. And what happened was we were a social club that was performing all around the state of the Nashville area in various talent shows. And from the very beginning, we were named the Unique Gents. And in that organization, where our founder was Edward Mullins, we found different ways of spending our time other than just being out and being loose, like Michael was just talking about, and being idle. We were able to be in an organization that taught us how to do various things in the community. We did a lot of community service work. We did a lot of things in the community center. And so it showed us by doing volunteer work and by being busy doing things, it really, Dr. Haney kept us out of trouble when we were young.
Mr. JThrealkill, how did you become involved with the Unique Gents?
Well, I grew up in East Nashville, and so I was aware of the Unique Gents and the performances that they did. And so at Mr. Mullins' untimely passing, the gentlemen came together and rededicated themselves to continuing his legacy through community service, through working with youth, working with seniors, and that type of thing. And so I was honored that they asked me to become a part of this reinvigorated group of men who were dedicated to working in the community. And so they asked me to be vice president, and it's been an exciting opportunity to have an impact on our communities that we grew up in.
And so the three of you are still working diligently in terms of trying to reach out and bring young African-American men for the most part, but you're not especially limited to African-American men. I would imagine you're open to any individual who might want to become a part of what you're doing. Is that what you're saying?